Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today's Wednesday, March 23rd, 2022. Today I'm going to recap last night's NBA, NHL, NIT, CBI games. Look ahead to tonight's games with all those. Major League Baseball, spring training. We'll look back on yesterday's games. Look ahead to today's games. First baseman rankings for baseball. We'll do some reality TV talk with Idol, Survivor, and Masked Singer. News and notes, and my best bet of the day. All right, we'll start with the NBA. We'll recap the small window from last night. Look ahead to a very nice window of games for tonight. Magic over the Warriors, 94-90. Hawks over the Knicks, 117-111. Bucks over the Bulls, 126-98. Nuggets over the Clippers, 127-115. All right, tonight's games, 11 of them. 7 o'clock, you have the Knicks and the Hornets. My projection is Charlotte by 10.5 total, 215 and 13/20. No Julius Randle for New York tonight, and it's 7 and 226.5. I really like the under, no Randall, and no Gordon Hayward for Charlotte, so I really like the under. Under in Charlotte's a good same-game parlay. Hawks, Pistons, my projection is Hawks by 5, total 231 and 19/20. And it is 5 and 225.5. I'm going to go over on this one. The Kings and the Pacers, my projection is Indiana by 7 3/4, total 239 and 13/20. No Domantas Sabonis in his return game to Indiana. So we're going to have to wait till next season to see that. And it's 6 and 236.5. I like that over as well, even though Sabonis is out. 7:30 Jazz Celtics, my projection is Boston by 3 3/4, total 223 and 7/20. And it's 5 and 219. I like the over in that game a lot. Warriors Heat. My projection is Miami by 9, total 203 and 3/10, or 208 and 3/10, and it is 7 and 213.5. I really like the under with no Stephen Curry. 7:30 ESPN. Nets Grizzlies shouldn't be on ESPN because John Morant's not playing, but I don't think ESPN knew that at the time, so bad luck for ESPN. My projections Memphis by 3, total 225 and 7/10. And it's Brooklyn by 3, total 236.5. So one player single-handedly changing the projection, not only for me, but changing who's favored. There's only one reason why Brooklyn's favored here, and it's because John Morant's not playing. But I'm going to go under on the total because John Morant's not playing. 8 o'clock, Suns Timberwolves. I projected is Minnesota by 1/4, total 237 and 13/20. And it's Phoenix 1.5, total 236. I'm going to take Minnesota, a slight lean to Minnesota getting the 1.5. And then I would take them the win outright at plus 102 with no Steph. Or I'm sorry, no Chris Paul. I have the Warriors in my head. Magic Thunder. My projection is Oklahoma City is a 1 1/4 underdog, total 211 and 4/5, and it's 1.5 and 219.5 under. 8:30 Rockets Mavericks. My projection is Dallas 8.5, total 222 and 19/20. It's no Luka Doncic tonight, and it's 9.5 and 225.5. I'm gonna go under because of no Luka. 7 o'clock, ESPN 76ers Lakers. My projection is Philly by 8 3/4, so 226 and 13/20, and 7.5 and 229.5. I like the under in that one, no Anthony Davis. And last but not least, Spurs Trailblazers. My projection is a whopping 16 1/4 for San Antonio on the road, total 231 and 3/20. And it's 8.5 and 232.5. I'm going to lay the 8.5 with San Antonio. Portland is literally tanking. Everybody's sitting for them tonight. All right, now we'll move on to the NHL. We'll recap the games from yesterday and look ahead to the games for tonight. Devils over the Rangers 7-4. Penguins over the Blue Jackets 5-1. Blues over the Capitals 5-2. Canes over the Lightning 3-2. Red Wings over the Flyers 6-3. Isles over the Sens 3-0. Jets over the Golden Knights 4-0. Stars over the Oilers 5-3. Sharks over the Flames 4-3. Kraken over the Coyotes 4-2. And the Kings over the Preds 6-1. All right. 4 games tonight. 7 o'clock, you have the Devils and the Maple Leafs from Toronto. Leafs are minus 330. Devils plus 260. Over under 6.5. Overs minus 140. Unders plus 114. Devils plus 1.5 is plus 116. Maple Leafs minus 1.5 is minus 142. This is a hard one. I'm gonna go with oh man. Let's do the under, contrarian under 6.5 at plus 114. Maybe it's a 4-2 Maple Leafs win. 7:30 TNT Penguins Sabres. I don't know why this game's on TNT. Sabres are terrible. It should be Vancouver, Colorado at 8, and then Blackhawks Ducks at 10:30. I don't know why the Sabres are on. Remember on NBC back in the day, the Sabres used to get so much favoritism on national TV. I feel like this year the Sabres have barely been on national TV. Barely. Them and the Red Wings used to get way too much favoritism from NBC. And even the Rangers when they were bad a few years ago. And obviously the Blackhawks. Pittsburgh minus 230. Buffalo plus 188. Over under 6. Overs minus 120. Unders minus 102. Pittsburgh minus 1.5 is plus 116. Buffalo plus 1.5 is minus 142. Second of a back-to-back for Pittsburgh, but I still like them on the puck line. Minus 1.5 at plus 116 in Buffalo. 9:30, Vancouver at Colorado. Avs minus 265, Vancouver plus 215, over under 6.5, overs minus 102, unders minus 120. Canucks plus 1.5 is minus 120, Avalanche minus 1.5 is minus 102. I'm going to go over 6.5 and minus 102. I think this is a high-scoring game. And last but not least, 10 o'clock TNT, Blackhawks Ducks. The Ducks are minus 132. The Blackhawks are plus 110, over under 6, minus 110 each way. Blackhawks plus 1.5 is minus 250. Ducks minus 1.5 is plus 198. I like the over here too. I think that both these teams are going to score and give up a lot of goals. So I like over 6, minus 110. All right, now I'll move on to the NIT. I'll look back on yesterday's quarterfinal games and look ahead to tonight's quarterfinal games. St. Bonaventure over Virginia 52-51. Xavier over Vanderbilt 75-73. So 2 really good games last night. And tonight, 7 o'clock ESPN2, you got Wake Forest and Texas A&M. My projection for that game is A&M by 4, total 144 and a fifth. And we got A&M by 2.5, total 146.5. This is tough. I'd go under. And Washington State BYU at 9 o'clock on ESPN2. My projection is BYU by 13.25, total 139 and 17-20. It's 2.5 and 142.5. Oh my God, I love BYU minus the points. Love it. I think BYU is going to win the NIT. I really, truly believe that will be the case. CBI time. We'll recap last night and look ahead to tonight's championship matchup. UNC Wilmington over Northern Colorado 80-64, and Middle Tennessee over Abilene Christian 85-69. And tonight, 5 o'clock ESPN2, you have Middle Tennessee and UNC Wilmington from the Ocean Center. My projection is Wilmington by 1 3/4, total 139 and 9/10. And for some reason, I don't have this game up. On FanDuel. I'm going to see if DraftKings has it potentially. And let's see. I don't see it for some reason. Wilmington and Middle Tennessee. But I do think that Wilmington will win this game. For some reason, I don't have it here. Like, my bookie doesn't even have it. Oh, here we go. It's middle by 4.5, total 140. Give me Wilmington plus 4.5 and whatever the money line is. We didn't get a chance to talk about the basketball classic on the podcast, so I apologize about that, guys. So I'm just going to go over what has happened so far. I'm not going to do totals and stuff like that. Because I just don't have the time for it. So, first round, USC upset over App State, 80-74. That was on the 15th. So a week ago today, first round, Florida Gulf Coast over Detroit Mercy, 95-79. Coastal Carolina over Maryland Eastern, 66-42. Merrimack advances because there was an uncontested game. I wonder if UMBC had COVID issues or whatever. South Alabama over Southeast Louisiana, 70-68. Youngstown State over Morgan State, 70-65. Southern Utah over Kent State, 83-79. Thursday the 17th, Fresno over Eastern Washington, 83-74. Saturday the 19th, first round, UTEP over Western Illinois, 80-54. Portland over New Orleans, 94-73. And then second round, Youngstown Wofford was canceled. And then quarterfinal, Monday the 21st, Coastal over Florida Gulf Coast, 84-68. South Alabama over SC upstate, 83-79. Southern Utah over UTEP, 82-69. And then tonight is Youngstown and Fresno. So if I had to do a line on the fly here, I would say I would make it Fresno by 6.5. And Fresno is giving a whopping 13 points, which is crazy. And the total is 130.5. I'll take Youngstown getting all the points in that one. Alrighty. Moving on to Major League Baseball spring training. We'll go over the results and look ahead to today's matches. Braves over the Twins 4-0. Phils over the Tigers 7-2. Orioles over the Pirates 10-9. Cardinals over the Marlins 4-3. Red Sox over the Rays 4-2. Blue Jays over the Yankees 9-2. Guardians over the Padres 6-1. Rangers over the Diamondbacks 4-1. Angels over the Rockies 7-4. White Sox over the Brewers 4-3. Cubs over the Mariners 5-5 tie. Royals over the A's 5-3. Mets over the Astros 2-0. Reds over the Dodgers 10-8. All right, today's games: 1 o'clock. Rays, Braves, Tigers, Red Sox, Pirates, Tigers, Cardinals, Astros, Nats, Marlins, Blue Jays, Phillies, A's, Cubs at 4 o'clock. Guardians, Dodgers, D-backs, Giants, White Sox, Rangers, Royals, Rockies, Angels, Padres 6:30. Orioles, Yankees 9 o'clock. The Brewers and the Reds. All right, PGA, the tournament that will be going on this upcoming weekend is the Corrales Punta Cana Resort and Club Championship, which is a fun and interesting tournament, to say the least. I'm just going to go over the tee times for tomorrow of notable golfers. 6:45 a.m. Vincent Willey, Bryce Garnett, DJ Train. 6:56 Brandon Hagee, Adam Cook. 7:07 Vincent Taylor. 7:18 Joel Dahman, Nate Lashley, Hudson Swafford, Emiliano Greo. 7:29 Patrick Rogers, Kyle Stanley, Rafa Cabrera Bello, Cam Percy, Ben Martin. 7:40 Wyndham Clark, Brandon Haas, Camilo Vegas, Sahith Thiglia, Brock Stewart. 7:51 Dylan Vanderwalt. 8:02 Mariano Gillick, Max McGreevy. 8:13 Cam Thompson, Bo Hogg. 8:24 nobody significantly of note. 11:30 you have Sean O'Hare. This is like a lower tier tournament. 11:41 you have Aaron Ray. 11:52 Adam Schenk, Doc Redman. 12:03 Tyler Duncan, Jonathan Vegas. 12:14 Kramer Hickok, Mark Hubbard. 12:25 Bo Van Pelt, Roger Sloan. Chasen Hadley. 12:36 nobody really of significance. Same for 12:47. 12:58 Dylan Wu. 109 nobody of significance either. So this is going to be a hard tournament to project. I have somebody in mind to pick the win. And then you have the WGC Dell match play going on as well. But for Corrales, I'm going to go with Doc Redman at 33-1 to win the Corrales Punta Cana Resort and Club Championship. And then the WGC match play, I'm trying to find the tee times here. So it's a lot like matchups, which is really fun. So at 10:20 of Jordan Spieth and Keegan Bradley, 10:31 Adam Scott, Justin Rose, 10:42 Justin Thomas, Luke List, 10:53 Kevin Kisner, Mark Leishman, 11:04 Joaquin Neiman, Maverick McNeely, 11:15 Kevin Na, Russell Henley, 11:26 Victor Hovland and Sepp Straka, 11:37 Will Zalatoris and Cam Triangle, 11:48 Louis Oldson and Alex Thoren, 11:59 Paul Casey and Corey Connors, 12:10 Xander Schauffele against Takami Kayana, 12:21 Tony Finau and Lucas Herbert, 12:32 Abraham Ancer and Bubba Watson, 12:43 Webb Simpson and Brian Harmon, 12:54 Colin Morikawa and Robert McIntyre, 105 Jason Kokrak and Sergio Garcia, 116 Billy Horschel and Minwoo Lee, 127 Thomas Pieters and Tom Hogue, 138 Scotty Scheffler against Ian Poulter, 149 Matt Fitzpatrick against Tommy Fleetwood, 2 o'clock Tyrell Hatton and Christian Ziedenhout, 211 Daniel Berger and Siwoo Kim, 222 Patrick Cantlay and Keith Mitchell, 233 Sungjae Im and Seamus Power, 244 Bryson DeChambeau and Richard Bland, 255 Taylor Gooch and Lee Westwood, 306 Dustin Johnson and Mackenzie Hughes, 317 Max Homa and Matthew Wolff, 328 Brooks Koepka and Eric Van Rooyen, 339 Shane Lowry and Harold Varner III, 350 John Rahm and Sebastian Munoz, and 401 Patrick Reed and Cam Young. So my pick to win the WGC Dell Technologies match play which begins today, by the way. Let's go with Xander Schauffele at 24-1 to win this one. I might like Schauffele in this spot. He's undervalued. I think he should be more like 20-1. But I'm going to go with Xander Schauffele 24-1 to win the WGC Dell Match Play. All right, now I'm going to do my Major League Baseball first base rankings. This was an interesting list to put together with some guys moving around. Some guys are in decline. Some guys are on the calm. Breakout guys from a year ago. It was interesting to see where I had them placed. So without further ado, here we go. Number 30, Eric Thames, Athletics, hasn't played in the bigs in a long time. 29, Yoshi Tsutsugo, Pirates. I just don't like Tsutsugo. He was a liability on the Rays. 28, Bobby Bradley, Indians. And 27, Bobby Dalbec, Red Sox. Two guys that I think need to take a step forward. 26, Rowdy Tellez, Brewers. 25, Jaiman Choi, Rays. A couple decent-ish role players on good teams. 24, Christian Walker, Diamondbacks. Somebody that really hasn't put it together yet. 23, Frank Schwindel, Cubs. Really had a nice stretch, but is he for real? 22, Spencer Torkelson, Tigers. Have not played a game in the big leagues, but I think that if I do these rankings 6 months from now, he'd be higher. 21, Alex Kirilloff, Twins. The same could go for him as well, except he's played in a couple of games in the bigs. 20, Carlos Santana, Royals. Not the same player he used to be. 19, Yuli Gurriel, Astros. Solid role player. 18, Jesus Aguilar, Marlins. 17, CJ Cron, Rockies. Two decent role players on bad teams. 16, Eric Hosmer, Padres. Clearly not the same player as he used to be. 15, Nathaniel Lowe, Rangers. Could be a breakout guy this year. 14, Brandon Belt, Giants. I think he's going to regress from his good year from last year. 13, Ty France, Mariners. Really decent player for them last year, helping them go on that great run to close the season. 12, Anthony Rizzo, Yankees. I still think he's a good player, but he's not a top 10 first baseman anymore. 11, Joey Votto, Reds. I like Joey Votto a lot. Still playing in the bandbox. That is Great American Ballpark. But he just isn't that good anymore. 10, Ryan Mountcastle, Orioles. I really think he's going to be a breakout star this year. 9, Jared Walsh, Angels. He had a career year last year. Does he repeat that? 8, Josh Bell, Nationals. I really think he's going to be having a big season. Maybe he's traded. 7, Rhys Hoskins, Phillies. And 6, Peter Alonso, Mets. Two guys in the NL East along with Bell that I think are going to have big years. 5, Jose Abreu, White Sox. Still an amazing player. But injuries have kind of been in the way for Abreu a little bit. And I just don't think he's as good as he was when he came into the league. 4, Matt Olson, Braves. I think he's going to have a big year in Atlanta. I know the pitching's going to be better that he's going to be facing, but I still think he's amazing. 3, Paul Goldschmidt, Cardinals. I love Paul Goldschmidt. He's still great. 2, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Blue Jays. A phenomenal hitter all around, but to me, the reason why he's not in the number 1 spot is because of his defense being suspect at times. And then number 1, Freddie Freeman, Los Angeles Dodgers. Boy, that was weird to say. To me, Freddie Freeman's still the best first baseman in the game. Won the MVP in the COVID year and was a candidate for the MVP this season, helping the Braves turn their season around into a World Series champions. So Freddie Freeman, to me, still the best first baseman in all of baseball. All right. Now we're going to talk about American Idol from Monday night. We just didn't have time to do it on the show yesterday. So the first contestant that was up was Tobias Hill, 26 years old from Como, North Carolina, sang 2 songs. He wanted to sing 2 songs. He sang If You Really Love Me by Stevie Wonder and Uptown Funk by Bruno Mars. He was going to sing, but he really didn't know the words. But he got 3 yeses in the Hollywood, and that's what matters here on the show. Morgan Gruber, 17, from Fontville, Pennsylvania. She performed Can't Be Loved by LB. 3 yeses in the Hollywood. She was great. Then it was a girl named Kimmy Carafi at 25 years old, performed How Do I Live by Leanne Rimes. She did not get through. She was a mom, by the way. But she just didn't make it through. Then there was a couple that performed together. Caleb Robinson and Matt Gorman. The former from Raleigh and the latter from Philly. The former Kayla got in. Matt got 1 yes from Lionel, but the other 2 judges said no. Then there was a girl, Sailor, 18 years old, from Newalla, Oklahoma, performing All I Want by Olivia Rodrigo. I think she was outstanding. Interesting thing about her is that she was close to her father, and her father left her mother for another girl. And he met the other girl through Sailor's fan club after Sailor went viral. But she got 3 S's in the Hollywood. I really hope this girl Sailor makes it far. She's very talented. Skylar Dixon, 27 years old, from Nashville, Tennessee, performing My Church by Mara Morris, turns out to be a fake contestant as Luke's wife pranks him during the performance, which was really funny. Cameron Whitcomb, 18 years old, from British Columbia, Canada, got a no from Lionel, but 2 yeses from Katie and Luke. Emerson Flores, 16 years old, from Cleveland, Ohio, got 3 yeses in the Hollywood. Sir Blake, 28 years old, from Chicago, and then he moved to L.A., performed Dive by Ed Sheeran, as well as an original song. He got a no from Luke, but a yes from Lionel and Katie. Then there was a couple contestants that they showed quickly. Jessa Ray, 26, from Santa Monica. Kira Razavi, 20, from New York. And Marlene Mendoza, 28, from New York, all knows. They're your classic ones that they want to show on the show just because. Then when Carly McHale, 28 years old, performed Elton John's Your Song, 3 S's in the Hollywood. Jake Copeland, 28 years old, signed, sealed, delivered by Stevie Wonder, got 3 S's, plus he was the platinum ticket winner. And then Tyler Maxey Wirt, 25 years old, from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, got 3 S's in the Hollywood. The Hollywood round's going to be a lot of fun. That show's going to be aired on Monday night. Meanwhile, on Sunday, after the Oscars, they're going to have a special show about the contestants. So nothing important when it comes to results of the show on Sunday night. But Monday night is the important Idol night next week. All right. Now we're going to talk about Survivor from last week. It was an interesting episode, to say the least. The immunity reward challenge was that a tribe member directed 2 pairs of blindfolded tribe mates to bags of puzzle pieces, and after they brought their 4 tribe mates to a station to direct them in solving a puzzle, and then the first 2 tribes to fish won immunity. The first place tribe won a large fishing kit, the second place tribe won a smaller fishing kit, and the last place tribe had to forfeit their flint. Vati and Ika won the challenge, and then the alliance of Jonathan, Lindsay, and Omar debated voting out Myra or Marianne. And Marianne was searching for an idol, and in that tribal council, everyone acknowledged a personal fondness for each other, but Myra was sent home following a failed shot in the dark. So it's going to be an interesting show tonight. Team Vadi's in good shape. They still have their OG members on there. And then Taku's down to 4 and Ika has 5. So it's going to be a very interesting episode of Survivor tonight. For sure. Masked Singer. That is also going to be an interesting show tonight, as Group A has its final in a way. So it's the good, the bad, and the cuddly. And in Group A, Group B, and Group C. So this is Group A that will be going tonight. So Eric Stonestreet gets paneled last week. Last week they really didn't show much clues. Firefly performed Pretty Young Thing by Michael Jackson, and her mega clue was Pharrell and had major keys of her career. Eric Stonestreet went with Aisha Tyler. Robin said Keisha Cole. Nicole said Lauryn Hill. Then Cyclops went of Team Bad. By the way, it's Firefly's Team Good. He talks about having another side to his bad self. He performed Suspicious Minds by Elvis Presley. His mega clue was a Meteoroid in 1988. I have two names in mind from this. John Goodman from Monsters, Inc., maybe because of the costume. And then the other name I had in my mind was Randy Jackson of Name That Tune, former judge of American Idol. I'd love it if it's Randy. I'm rooting for it to be Randy, but John Goodman would be fun too. Ken Jung said Chris Pratt. Eric said John Lithgow. And Nicole said Rob Thomas. Team Bad was Ram. He performed Learn to Fly by the Foo Fighters. His mega clue was an Emmy. Ken said Jason Sudeikis. Eric said Ty Burrell. Jason Biggs was Jenny's guess. And then they talk about celebrity BFF being Kate Hudson. Team Cuddly. Thingamabob went next. He says how people think he's big and scary. He performed Perfect by Ed Sheeran. His mega clue was Shields. Jenny McCarthy said The Rock. Eric said Omar Benson Miller. And Robin said Jason Momoa. I think this is somebody really, really talented. And, it could be a rapper. It could be an athlete. This reminds me a lot of Thingamajig. Or even, who was Wiz Khalifa's character last year? Yeah. That's who he reminds me of. And the duel was Ram against Firefly. Ram performed Take Me Home Country Roads by John Denver. Firefly performed God is a Woman by Ariana Grande. Ram went home. My first impression guess was Peyton Manning. My final guess was Tom Brady. Jenny said Jason Biggs. Nicole said Ken Slater. Ken said Jason Sudeikis. Eric and Robin said Joe Buck, and it was indeed Joe Buck. I said on the podcast last Wednesday, as I was talking about the Ram and how Jenny guessed Jim Harbaugh 2 weeks ago, and I mentioned how which coaches are likely to be on the show, and then it kind of switched into broadcasters because I thought about NBA's Jeff Van Gundy and Mark Jackson, and then I had Joe Buck in my head, but I totally wrote him off because of his move to ESPN. But the wild card here is that this was taped in January, as Joe Buck said on his podcast. So that's really interesting. So it was really cool to see Joe Buck on The Masked Singer for sure. And tonight is a double elimination. And the two that I think are going to go home are Cyclops and Firefly. Because I think Thingamabob's amazing. I wasn't sure who to pick to get unmasked. But I know Cyclops probably will. Cyclops is good, but all due respect, Firefly and Thingamabob are better. But I'm going to say that Thingamabob survives, Firefly goes home. And if I had a guess for Firefly, I think it could be Mary J. Blige from a singing voice standpoint. But I think they're onto something with Aisha Taylor, but we'll see with Firefly. Alrighty then. Now we're going to move on to news and notes for today. Going to try to be quick with news and notes. There isn't that much to discuss. Trae Young says that Madison Square Garden wasn't even loud, as he's just being annoying at this point. MSG was loud, I thought, just from watching the game on TNT last night. I thought the Garden was rocking. They were loud. They were booing Trae Young, and he deserved to be booed because he's just the villain, their new villain. And he's just being a brat. That's what he is. And who was also a brat is Knicks forward Julius Randle, fined $40,000 for directing hostile language towards an official in the game against the Jazz. And he didn't even play last night due to a sore right quad tendon, and he's not playing tonight against Charlotte. I mean, I still think the Hawks would have won the game if Randle was there because Randle just isn't as good as he was last year. That's just the reality of the situation. We talked about John Morant missing tonight's game. Jonathan Isaac underwent minor surgery on his right hamstring after injury during ACL rehab, so he's done for the year. The men's Naismith finalists are out. Kentucky's Oscar Tshiebwe, Wisconsin's Johnny Davis, and Iowa's Keegan Murray, as well as Kansas's Ochai Agbaji. Tshiebwe deserves to be punished for losing to St. Peter's. Johnny Davis got hurt. Keegan Murray lost to Richmond, and Ajabi is still in the tournament. So, I'd respect it if they gave it to Ajabi. I mean, I get Johnny Davis winning it because he single-handedly is the reason why Wisconsin was good this year. Tshiebwe was the best player all year, but the St. Peter's loss is just inexcusable. But I think it's going to be Tshiebwe, and it probably should be Tshiebwe. And I think John Calipari deserves the blame for the St. Peter's loss too. Big news dropping last night. The number one women's tennis player, Ashley Barty, announces shocking retirement months after winning the Australian Open. That is just stunning. A big loss for tennis. I love Ashley Barty. She's a phenomenal tennis player, and it's so stunning that at 25 years old, she said, "Yep, I'm done." New Major League Baseball rules from the CBA. They have the Shohei Ohtani rule, which helps him stay in the game in games in which he pitches. And then the Ghost Runner's back, unfortunately. Brown's trade package for Baker Mayfield may have to attach a draft pick in order to trade Mayfield, which is insane. That's how bad his value has declined. The Panthers are not targeting Baker Mayfield despite previous reports. Vikings signed Zadarius Smith, 3 years, $42 million. I love the signing from Minnesota. It's like a FU to the Packers, and he'll help improve their defense. The Hurricanes were upset with the Lightning after Nikita Kucherov's hit on Sebastian Aho, and rightfully so. Odell Beckham Jr. opened to a Browns reunion after the team trades for Deshaun Watson. A couple of arbitration stuff. Toronto Matt Chapman, 2 years, $25 million. Alonso's 1 year, $7.4. Vlad Jr., $7.9 million. Aaron Judge and the Yankees are like $4 million apart. Judge wants to be paid 20-something million. Yankees settle at 17, so that's a big one that's not done yet. There's some other ones that raised some eyebrows. The Twins and Gary Sanchez didn't hit one. There's another big one that made me raise my eyebrows. I forget who. And then non-sports news is that Hillary and Bill Clinton test positive, or just Hillary tests positive for COVID. Bill was negative in quarantining. Jen Psaki, the White House press secretary, positive for COVID. Biden negative. Alrighty. Last but not least, my best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. And by the way, hopefully everybody will be okay with the Clinton and the secondary. Hopefully they're just asymptomatic and they'll be fine. So best bet, I thought of one immediately. NBA total. I really felt that the total in the Nets-Grizzlies game was ridiculously high due to the absence of John Morant. I know Brooklyn's going to put up a lot of points, but I really think that the total in that game is really high. So I'm going to go under 137. I'm going to lay a unit on it between the Nets and the Grizzlies for my best bet of the day. All right, so that's it for today's show. I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything from today. Looking ahead to everything tomorrow. We have the Sweet 16 starting tomorrow in the men's NCAA tournament, so that should be a lot of fun. And then obviously news and notes and best bet. I hope you guys have a great day, everyone.